Hi, guys. Welcome back once again to The Edward. I'm your host, Eddie, and in tonight's video, I'll be doing once again another episode review for AMC's The Walking Dead. New episode premiered earlier tonight on AMC, of course, and it was another good one. Very, very good. Very promising. Very exciting stuff. So I'll get to that in just a minute, but before I get started and I start talking for too long, of course, please be warned that this episode review will be full of big spoilers regarding tonight's episode. If you're not caught up on The Walking Dead or you're behind by this episode, do not keep watching or listening to this video, as I will be going into major spoilers, from here on out. So you have been warned. That being said, once you are caught up, please come on back and give this video a watch or a listen, as you may find it informative and somewhat entertaining. So this was a great episode. Tonight we saw our characters getting back into the groove of things. A couple of questions were answered. Number one, first and foremost, we found out what happened to Father Gabriel. This mysterious new group that doesn't have a name yet, and they talk funny. The whole episode, or at least during those scenes with those characters, I was watching with my family and my relatives. In between commercials, we're all talking like their new leader Jadis was talking, like, we take, we don't do, we take, or something like that. Just the way they talked, it was like it was very flat, I would say. It was a very interesting way to speak, I guess. I don't know, but I don't know if there will be reasons explained as to why she's talking like that down the line or something. I don't know, but they've gained a new ally, supposedly. Hopefully, they can trust him. And of course, to prove his worthiness to this group, to live up to their promises, they make Rick fight this awesome spiked, decked out walker in a gladiator fight pit type deal, which was so cool. And they seem to have their own little fortress of trash. It's like they've turned this junkyard into their own personal little walled kingdom, or whatever you want to call it. But we met their leader Jadis. It turns out they forced Father Gabriel to empty out the pantry, give them all their food, and then Gabriel left a message for Rick and the gang, hoping that they would get his message, the one that said boat, and then they got out there and they found this group. So Gabriel has not betrayed our group. He has not reverted to his cowardly ways. He's still a changed man, a different man. And he even helped Rick in making an argument for Alexandria on behalf of Rick to these people, saying, you help us fight the Saviors. You can take whatever they have. You can take whatever you want. Tell us what you want and we'll give it to you. And sure enough, after Rick survived his brawl with Winslow, which is one of my new favorite walkers now, as I'm sure it will become a lot of people's new favorite walker, the spiked blind walker that was in the fighter pit. Now this new group will help Rick's people fight in the coming battle, in the coming war with Negan and the Saviors. I think the leader of this group, Jadis, her name is, looks a lot like Mila Djokovic. I felt like saying something during the show, but I didn't want to distract my family from watching the episode, so I waited till after the commercials. And then somebody else said the same thing. Yeah, that's what I thought too. She looks like Mila Djokovic from Resident Evil, so it's like a Resident Evil Walking Dead crossover almost. Daryl found out Carol was still alive, not surprising. And I loved how he found out about it. Now, Richard has the right idea. It's his plan, his execution that I didn't disagree with. I could see where he was going with it. He was going to make it look like the Saviors had murdered Carol by attacking and ambushing the Saviors they make the drop with, and the Saviors would discover the remains, and that would lead a false trail back to Carol's cabin, where they would kill Carol, and that would motivate Ezekiel to join the fight. I could see his plan, but I don't agree with it. I mean, it's one way to get Ezekiel and the kingdom involved, but it's not the best way to do it. And when Daryl started to put the pieces together, as Richard described this loner, this woman living out in the cabin, he started to think to himself, this could be Carol. So sure enough, that's what led him to stopping Richard from carrying out his plan. Now, who's to say he'll stop Richard again, or if Richard will do it with or without Daryl is hard to say. But it was nice seeing those two spark a friendship. Well, not a friendship, but a mutual trust almost. Although that trust was completely violated and may be gone due to their little fisticuffs they had with each other when Daryl said, "No, we're not going to kill Carol." So I don't know if that trust will be regained in the long run or if Richard will try to carry out his plan. Who knows? But it was a bit tense there for a while where you're like, damn, is Daryl going to kill him and to stop him from hurting Carol? Or is he going to kill Daryl to carry out his plan? But fortunately, neither one happened. So we'll see. It was also interesting seeing Daryl choose not to tell Carol about Glenn and Abraham and others who have died because she was already breaking down as if she already knew the answer to the question she was going to ask. She was going to ask, is everybody okay? Does anybody hurt? And she's breaking down. She's in tears because in her heart, she probably knows a couple of people are dead at this point because it's been a while. And he chooses to lie to her about it. And it kind of makes sense because it's like, well, Morgan lied to me about what really happened to you, so, why shouldn't I lie to you? But he also sees the fact that if he tells her what happened specifically to Glenn and Abraham, it would devastate her. It would make her lose what little she has left, in her own words. And it makes sense. I don't necessarily agree with what Carol's doing in isolating herself, but I understand why. She doesn't want to kill anymore, even though she can and she's perfectly capable of it. She doesn't want to because she doesn't want to lose what shred or little humanity she has left for herself, which is why she's isolating herself and staying away from her friends and people she loves. But I think Daryl was, in his own way, sparing her from knowing the truth about Glenn and Abraham. But I think my highlight of the show was, as brief as it was, I loved seeing Daryl and Shiva bond, or Daryl just hanging outside of her cage and looking at her, because she is a big, beautiful animal. But then right after he's done talking to Morgan, she allows him to pet her, which is pretty awesome. So that's really exciting. And I certainly hope they're setting us up for a moment or a scene during this season where Shiva is out in the open with Daryl and the two of them kill some walkers or saviors together. That would be epic. And I just want to see Shiva in action. I always enjoy seeing her, what little screen time she has, but I would love to see her in action. If not killing a savior or a hostile survivor, at least killing some walkers. That would be amazing. And I certainly hope that's what is going to come in this season. So it was another good, solid episode. Some really exciting moments. Rick fighting Winslow, the spiked up walker, meeting the new group and gaining a new ally. Daryl reuniting with Carol was a big highlight. And then, Daryl and Richard bonding over their common goal to fight the Saviors was cool, even though it ended up with those two trading blows with one another. And then, of course, to top it all off, Daryl bonding with Shiva was what really took the cake for me. So, great episode. Really enjoyed it. Hope you guys did too. Thank you so much for watching this episode review here on The Edward. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel to stay up to date on shows like The Walking Dead as we continue to watch and enjoy the second half of Season 7 with new episodes premiering every Sunday night on AMC. Don't forget to check out my Facebook page. The link will be in the description down below. I think you'll like what you see. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up, a like for this video on Facebook if you are one of my Facebook followers. Have a great rest of the night, everybody. I hope you have a long, restful, fun weekend. And of course, until next time, as always, may the Force be with you.